Have you found yourself purchasing something from an online scam app that you might not have known was a scam, but the product just seemed so unbelievable? The product then comes home, it's an absolute piece of junk, and you're left thinking, this was not what I bargained for. Well, in this video, we're going to be talking about steps you can take to recover some of that money that you have spent on a total scam app. These steps include, of course, dealing with your banking institution and your credit card institution, and contacting your local police and government bodies, and also reaching out to the scammers themselves if you know a mailing address, for example, or a contact person for the scam company. What inspired this video? I was recently scrolling through YouTube's trending page, and I saw a video by a content creator named Ryan Trahan, I believe is how you say his name. And Ryan had the thumbnail catchy enough, of course, that I clicked on it myself, and the thumbnail was, I purchased 100 scam ads. Now, the difference between what he might have done and what you might have done is that he purchased it intentionally for the purpose of creating this content and publishing it online, and you might have genuinely thought that you were buying like this life-changing product. Well, let's talk about what are some of the steps you can take to get your money back. For those of you that are new to the channel, my name is Pamela Metani. I'm a business lawyer and founder of Graphene Business Law, a law firm offering services exclusively to entrepreneurs and business owners, and we are located in Ontario, Canada. Now, when it comes to the concepts of scams, there are a lot of similarities through the Commonwealth jurisdictions and or the common law jurisdictions, including Canada, the US. I know we have viewers from the US here, and of course, even England and Australia, all of those countries. I'm not saying it's the exact same law, but I'm saying that there are a lot of similarities, and in fact, so much so that these jurisdictions often take inspiration from each other in case law and legal developments and all of that. So let's go through some of the steps. Ryan starts his video, by the way. The first company he talks about is this super sporty watch company where the guy says you can go over it with like a 10,000 pound weight, and he rolls over it with a really big car, nothing happens. And Ryan brings the watch home and hits it with a brick from a very close distance, and the watch shatters in I don't know how many pieces. So obviously Ryan was scammed, but like I said, the difference is he knew about it. He signed on to be scammed for the purpose of content, and you might not have known about it. So what can you do about it as, not a nice word, but as a victim of this scam? Okay, the first thing you're gonna wanna do is that I'm hoping you purchase this scammy piece of garbage with a credit card as opposed to a debit card or cash or check or any other means. But if you're scrolling through social media, for example, and you see the scam, chances are it was a credit card purchase, because so many websites nowadays don't even let you pay with debit card online. So on the credit card front, the first thing you're gonna wanna do, assuming you've just been scammed, these tips are not necessarily gonna be applying to, you bringing home a scammy piece of crap from like 20 years ago. We're talking about, you saw the Facebook ad a week ago, the product is now home, it's a piece of junk, they're not accepting your return. How do you get your money back? Call the credit card company, voice that this has been a fraudulent charge. Now, there's a few ways you can go about saying fraudulent charge. One is that you are contracting, like this charge on your card is from a company you've never even heard about, which obviously we're not advising here that you go that route if it's not authentic to your situation. I'm just informing you of the routes that there could be. And another route is that you say, this is from a company that you have heard about. You've tried to reach out to the company directly and settle the matter with them. They're not being responsive. So now you're going to, the mommy and daddy in the situation, which are the credit card company, okay? And I found that usually credit card companies tend to do right by these complaints. Of course, they have so much money to back up your complaint with, and there is an insurance policy explicit in whatever credit card you're signing on with. So chances are you are entitled to these protections. And on top of that, like I said, because they want your continued business, because these companies have so much more money than you know behind the scenes, I found that the chances are more likely than not that you do stand a really good chance of getting your money back, okay? Now, another thing you're gonna wanna do, especially, this depends on your discretion, if you've contracted with a company from some corner of the world you've never even heard about, I don't know that this step would help you all that much, but keep in mind, you know, and I don't mean to say this like a Batman movie, but there's scammers around the corner, okay? You don't need to be from whatever kind of country around the world to be a scam artist and a con artist. You could literally have a scammer selling crap out of a garage in your neighborhood right now. So the product you purchase could be from your city, could be from your state, and could certainly be from within your country as well. So if that's the case, a next step you're gonna wanna take is call the police. Now, why are you doing this? There's a chance that the police could help you get your money back, but usually when we call the police for these matters, it's not, that's not the only motivator. There's also the motivation there of helping put out a bat signal for the community so that the next person that calls the police and they've been scammed by the same company, well, now there's a record on file that this is a company of scammers, and the police will be more likely to take it more seriously depending on the number of calls and complaints that they get. Right? The more eyes that are on something, the more likely that a certain governing or protective body is to act on it, because all these calls are going to put pressure, including on the police forces, right? If everybody's complaining about the same company, the same scam scheme, it becomes less and less likely that even your local police are going to just take the call and do nothing about it, because now there's pressure on them. Another, you know, a colloquial whatever approach to this or saying is strength in numbers. You don't know where you are within those numbers. You might be call number 1, you might be call 37, but it's always better to have that number assigned to your complaint as opposed to just, you know, do nothing about it. You protect yourself because there's a chance the police could go straight to the wrongdoer and start a process that could help you get your money back, and also you protect and help keep safe for your community at large. The third thing you're going to want to do is report this to your government, okay? This could mean if you're in the US, obviously federal government for the states. If you are in Canada, it's going to be the federal Canadian government. In Canada specifically, we have something called the Canadian Anti-Fraud Center, which literally has its own website where you can make these complaints. I am sure that if you're in the States, you know, your state or even the federal government will have its own kind of reporting scheme, and same for other common law jurisdictions as well. Not to say that reporting scams is a common law jurisdiction thing. I am sure there are reporting schemes and safekeeping schemes in civil law countries as well. But again, I don't want to overreach to things I don't know that much about. So I'm keeping this video within my realm of knowledge and within our practice as a common law jurisdiction. Now, the fourth thing, and this is situation specific, okay? Depending on the money involved with the scam scheme, the fourth step is always going to be seeking legal help. It's one thing, you know, in this Ryan Trahan video that inspired my video, it's one thing for him to buy an $80 watch. And while I know that that can still be a lot of money, I mean, that could be, you know, somebody going without groceries for a week, for example. Like, there is no amount of money that's worth nothing in this world where, you know, there's literally people dying because they missed like a 50-cent meal. Any amount of money makes a difference to somebody in the world. But, you know, at the $80 mark, we're getting more serious. But think about, what if you bought like a scam, you know, hot tub or TV or computer or motorcycle or some piece of tech that was thousands of dollars, $10,000, $15,000. Well, in a case like that, it's going to be worth your while to take on a lawyer. With an $80 watch, maybe it won't be. I don't know what kind of lawyer you're working with. Maybe they charge, you know, $250 an hour, maybe they charge $500 an hour. So you have to do that cost benefit analysis that a successful business person does. Is this cost of business viable? Is it worth, you know, what we could get in return? And all those business person style questions. But at the $10,000 mark, hell yeah, get a lawyer, okay? And especially if it's a domestic matter. If it's an international scam scheme, I admit it becomes much more difficult to track down those wrongdoings. You don't know the addresses, you might not know the language, you don't know the people, you don't know the law firms. There are so many more obstacles to an international scam scheme. But if it is within your country where you live and you purchase and your mailing address and all those things are, then it is all the more worth your time to take a lawyer on board taking a lawyer on board doesn't mean you're going to see the person in court on Monday. At least in our jurisdiction of Ontario, 96% of cases never see their day in court. So, you know, there are certain other steps your lawyer could take outside of starting the litigation scheme. For example, they could send a demand letter where, you know, they're testing the waters with the other company. They say, you know, something to incentivize the wrongdoer, so to speak. So if you get back to us now, all I'm asking for is my money back. But if you don't, then I'm going to proceed to sue you. And then I'm going to ask for a lot more money. I'm going to ask for my lawyer fees. I'm going to ask for this and this and that. Oh, and on top of it, you know, you have the right to go public, to call the media, to make sure that somebody doesn't get scammed by this same company again. Okay. So consulting a lawyer, depending on the range of the scheme, on the monetary value assigned to it. Again, if it's anything within the mid thousands, like if it's something where we're talking about it's crossed that $3,000 mark, I think, like, without a thought, call a lawyer, see what can happen, see what deal the lawyer could offer you. Are you willing to pay them, you know, a small fee for them to issue out a letter, for example? And, you know, that might be a percentage of the $5,000 you've been scammed for. But if you spend, I'm making these numbers up here, if you spend, you know, $2,000 to get back $5,000 and you get back the $5,000, well, now you're ahead $3,000, so to speak, right? So is that worth it? If it's, you know, a $1,000 thing, but a lawyer is asking you for $1,500, well, then what's the point? You might never get the $1,000 back. Now you're sinking $1,500 into a lawyer. That money might not make sense. If it's anything beyond $10,000, don't even think about, like, the cost benefit of calling a lawyer. Call the lawyer, okay? So that, because that's starting to get into hefty sums, and I don't think I need to say if it's anything beyond that. You know, watch this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and then call a lawyer, okay? That's the thing you do in the next 10 seconds. So I wanted to put this video out there, like I said, because I watched Ryan's video and it was funny and it was entertaining and it was, you know, a really quirky take on just how many people get scammed. But at the same time, I thought to myself, if you got this piece of crap watch at home, again, the watch was like the first product he went over. If you got this piece of crap watch at home, would you know how to go about getting your money back? Because you deserve your money back. I'll leave this video there. If you have any questions or any comments, or if you think this kind of video, you know, jumping off of, not current events, if you will, but literally in this case, jumping off of, you know, what was on the trending page on YouTube, is something you'd like to see more of, as opposed to the more, you know, steady and conventional, like, legal topic overviews, let me know. We are so happy to cater to your interests here. At the end of the day, the viewers are who we put these videos out for. It's, you know, I already have the knowledge myself, so this is not my collection of notes to self. This is meant to add value to your life as a viewer. And let us know whatever your thoughts were about this video, okay? Thanks again for watching, and be careful out there. And if you're gonna be risky enough to make intentionally and knowingly one of these purchases, at least do it on a credit card versus cash or check or debit or other methods of payment, where I don't want to say there's no chance you'll get your money back, but there's close to no chance you'll get your money back compared to a credit card company. Thanks again for watching.